Submissions are the core of Jiu Jitsu. They turn control into victory and give smaller fighters the power to beat bigger ones. Learning the right ones early builds your foundation for everything else on the mats. Today we're covering 5 submissions every beginner must know to start tapping people out and surviving on the mats. Stick with me through the whole video, and by the end you'll have a complete submission game plan you can hit from day one. Let's get into it. The Kimura is one of the first locks you should learn. It teaches control, grip fighting, and how to turn your opponent's mistakes into a finish.
So as you can see here, whether he puts his hand on the mat or he just puts his hand too low along my waistline and he's not applying the correct pressure, I can go ahead and isolate that shoulder I want to attack by getting a C-clamp grip across his wrist. Once I'm able to obtain this grip on his wrist, I'm going to open and twist my legs so that it turns my shoulders and upper body towards the shoulder I want to attack. From here, my opposite side arm is going to reach up over his tricep. As my back comes off the mat, I'm going to take my free arm up over his tricep and reach back in to grab my own wrist. I prefer the C-clamp grip on my own wrist, but I've used monkey paw too. I've seen it shown with both grips and I've seen different preferences on this. I prefer the C-clamp. Now, once I have this, his shoulder is isolated and the position is locked. What I want to do is rewrap my legs here as I begin to rotate my upper body. I want to take his hand close to his back and ride that wall all the way up.
So as we're in this Kimura, I want to put pressure on the backside of her shoulder. So if she wants to push on my shoulder and pull the arm out now, that's very hard because my pressure is back on her posture. And I'm not focusing. If my elbow is to the ceiling, she can push out and start limping her arm out.
The Kimura from guard is perfect for beginners. It punishes mistakes, locks the shoulder, and teaches you control from the bottom. And speaking of Kimuras, check this out. The Kimura Rash Guard. It's one of the fun, flashy designs the BJJ community loves, and it's from XMartial. Beyond the looks, every rash guard is made with top-notch quality, built to handle the toughest rolls. XMartial is community-driven, supporting athletes worldwide, and we're always running solid deals. Click the link in the description below, and you'll get 10% off your order. The armbar from guard is a classic. It shows you how to use your hips, angles, and timing to break through any defense.
From the guard, grab your opponent's neck, step on their hip, and pinch your knee against their shoulder to keep them from pulling their arm out. Then bring your bottom leg across their shoulders as you rotate your body perpendicular to theirs. Then bring your top leg over their head and curl down with your foot. This will prevent them from stacking and pulling their arm out. To finish, grab the wrist with both hands and hip in. Be sure to keep their thumb pointed up when you do this. And it's important to cut an angle and be as smooth as possible when you throw that top leg over their head, as any gaps may give them enough space to escape the submission. You can also go for the armbar from high mount. When I do this, I like to stay on top of my partner. That way I keep my weight on him for maximal control. And from side control, if you slide your leg over their bottom arm, you can use your underhook to transition to the spinning armbar. This is a great way of catching your opponent off guard.
I want the thumb facing the ceiling and the hips facing the ceiling. If his thumb were to rotate here, I would need to bring my pressure across this way. So I would pull across and in with the hip. If his thumb rotated the other way, now I need to bring my pressure across this line, so this knee would go in.
The armbar is a classic beginner move. Isolate the arm, swing your leg over, and extend the hips for a clean finish. The triangle is a must-have for beginners. It teaches posture control, leg dexterity, and a choke you can set up from everywhere.
I'm setting up a triangle choke. I've cleared the shoulder. I've got the crook of my knee right there, right on the side of his neck. There's a carotid artery running through here. It brings blood to the brain. I want to stop that. So I press my leg into one side. I close this up. Now come around here to the other side. Focus on his shoulder. Look right here. Right, you'll notice this thigh is pressing this shoulder into his neck, squeezing the other carotid artery. Okay? That's ultimately what's going to cut off the blood supply to his brain. But wait, there's more. Do you see this arm? So Ken, imagine he's pointing over that way. He's like, go that way, Ramsey, go that way, right? Because I want my body over this way to create an angle. And now it's going to get very tight. You'll notice he's coughing. His neck has just been constricted a lot
The triangle choke is all about control. Trap an arm, shoot your legs up around the neck, lock your ankles, and squeeze until the tap. The arm in guillotine gives you both control and finishing power.
For the arm in guillotine, you grip hand over hand, 4 fingers over the blade of the other hand. The way you want to position your grips for the arm in guillotine is your opponent's neck just a little bit past where your hand rounds, the hard part of your wrist/forearm. And now you lift your wrist upwards to press it into the soft part of the neck. You should be able to feel the soft part of the neck. If you don't, you're likely too deep and will put pressure on the trachea and risk injuring the throat. Lifting your wrist up presses it into the carotid artery, but you also need to press the carotid artery into your wrist. And again, use rotational pressure to push their head down. Push your wrist into the soft part of the neck and push their head to force their neck into your wrist. From your guard, you need to be on your side to get rotational pressure. This will enable you to actually rotate. If you're on your back, it'll be tougher to rotate, but you can still push their head inward with your bicep. From your guard, you need to position your legs in a way where your opponent can't jump to the other side to pass your guard. If this happens, you should just let go of the guillotine. Otherwise, you run the risk of getting von Flue choked. My preferred way to grip with my legs is using the shin of my inside leg across the belly, and my outside leg gripping behind the back.
The arm in guillotine is simple. Wrap the head and arm, lock your grip, drop your weight, and squeeze for the tap. The rear naked choke is the highest percentage submission in all of Jiu Jitsu and MMA. If you get the back, this is the move that ends fights.
What you'll see the untrained do is once they're on their back and they're in the seatbelt position, they try to shoot the choke immediately from here. And what normally will happen is your opponent's gonna grab your wrist and grab your hand and prevent that choking hand from being able to reach up and complete that submission. Well, instead of rushing for that choke right away, what you can do is reach over and grab the shoulder. And if you have to finger walk to that shoulder, that's fine. In this example, my helper does have wider shoulders, so I will finger walk up to his shoulder. Once I have a grip on that shoulder, I'm squeezing in and up. Watch as I raise the shoulder, almost like he's saying, I don't know. Once I'm in that position, my arm has a much smaller distance to travel to complete that choke. Also, it's much more difficult for my opponent to grab my wrist and my hand, preventing me from completing the choke.
Those are 5 submissions every beginner should build their game around. Drill them, trust them, and they'll carry you from white belt all the way up. Remember, it's about getting 1% better every day. And if you're ready for the next step, watch this video right here and subscribe.